Hello, everyone. It is me, the one and only Peace for Lunch, starting episode 3 of the Kamen Kast, and I am joined, as always, by my lovely wife,
Daisy64.
Hello, everyone. We are back yet again to talk more Kamen Rider Zi-O, but before we do that, I just want to do a quick shout out to everyone who listened, viewed, whatever. You're wonderful. You're great. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Likes and dislikes. I like them all.
And comments.
Yeah, that happened.
We'll take.
We had a comment. And I appreciate the comment. It was just trying to correct our names, for the names we had for people, but that's okay because we kind of did that last episode a little bit. We did discuss why Udu's name is not Wool and it's Udu.
Yeah.
We discussed that. I mean, thanks for the comment, though, and any discussion is much wanted discussion. So let's get on into the episode. All right, so as always, Wars recaps the episode. I still love the way they bring this in.
It's so great.
It's still cool.
It's probably my favorite.
Not much to linger on there. So we start the episode off with Zi-O coming down the stairs, and it's breakfast time, and of course the two are living with him, and Tsukuyomi and Gates are downstairs eating breakfast, and he asks for a butter knife,
which was a very, very bad idea.
And so Gates, of course, throws it like a throwing knife, and it gets stuck into the countertop.
It goes right through the toast. I have to appreciate his aim. Dude is awesome. I love him so much.
The best part about that was, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
When he looks over and goes, "Dozo." Like, he has this look on his face that's just awesome.
Exactly.
I don't know. Such a comedy bit. One thing I hate about these things, though, is when they do that little boo-hoo whistle thing in the background.
It's a cuckoo clock kind of sound.
Oh, my gosh.
I love
that gets
it.
on my nerves.
No, I love it. It's perfect. But what I thought was great was that when he had to literally work hard to get that knife out of the thing.
He does struggle.
And then he's like falling backwards, and his uncle comes in and is like, "Oh, Sogo, you're dancing," and it's like,
ha 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 ha.
Okay, you're a doofus, but we love you, Uncle.
The dancing comment was pretty fun. But then they just immediately piss me off with, "Oh, well, time, your toast is cold because time waits for no man." We're doing it yet again. Here we go. Beat us over the head with it.
To be fair, it was coffee, and coffee goes cold very, very quickly.
Well, he's talking about toast, though.
No, he's talking about the coffee.
Was he talking about the coffee?
Yeah, he drinks the coffee, and he's like, "Oh, this is kind of cold." He's like, "Well, it's your fault. You slept in,
right?
Jerk."
Because time waits for no one.
Yeah, exactly, which is true.
That's stupid. So then we learn that they're 18.
They're all the same age.
And Gates are 18, which makes, what's the main rider's name?
Sogo.
It makes, they're all 18. So they're all going to go to high school together.
So they're going to go... Sogo? Yeah.
Sure.
Love it.
So they're all going to go to high school together. So then before we cut to that hilarious scene, we see Udu walking, and time's frozen again. And then we see a new time jacker, Ora. Ora is discussing with Udu that he has failed in his experiment with Build.
And she's like, "Oh, you backed Build. Too bad he was terrible."
Right.
And he's like, "Well, you know."
There's Zi-O's running around, and she initially thinks that he's talking about Oma Zi-O.
And she's like, "Ugh, that annoying old man." He's like, No. This is the 2018 version, and you still need to watch out for him. She's like, "I got my own plans."
Yeah.
And then then it kind of cuts to where she actually creates another Kamen Rider for this one, which is another X-Aid.
And she actually goes back to 2016 because you have to go to their timeline to create another rider. And she creates it from this father who is worried about his son who has, I'm guessing, game disease or game virus.
Yeah.
From X-Aid, or maybe not from X-Aid, but in the same vein. So the intro plays. What do you think of the intro?
It's starting to grow on me a little bit, but I I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I do love that little misete part at the end.
Misete.
I don't know. For me, it's all about how it ends. It's like,
Sure.
It can be kind of hype.
I think it's gonna work later.
I like it better than the one for Ghost.
I like it better than the one for Build.
No. We could talk forever. This needs to be a spin-off episode where we can do a top 10 theme songs.
Intros.
But
our first top 10.
I didn't like Be the One
for
Build, but I like the song. I just don't necessarily think it fit the series. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly touch on the intro because
time waits for no one. We must continue.
That's true. We only learned this lesson by being told it, though.
So many times.
So then we see them in their high school outfits.
That was so great.
Man, Gates looks stupid.
He looks really stupid. But at the same time, it's like, that's kind of the joke. Because it's like, and then notice nobody says anything to them.
No.
Because, they're so out of uniform, it's ridiculous. And then Tsukuyomi has her little cape thing on.
She does. She was really cute.
Yeah, it looks really cute, but it's like, you can't go to school like that.
And it's
you wouldn't even make it through the gate. They'd be like, no, doesn't work.
Well, and yeah,
but that's the joke, though.
Right.
That's really the joke, especially since they're transfer students.
Right. So they're following him, and they make it clear that they're spying on him, that they're not actual high school students.
Yeah, they told him straight out the gate. It's like, no, we're not here to actually attend school. We're just here to watch you and kind of observe how you become Zi-O.
Right.
Because,
And then Gates has to remind him by grabbing his face.
Yeah, because
I'll kill you at any moment, yo.
Yeah, because Sogo's like, it's like, that seems like a lot of work. And it's like, well, I can just kill you right now if you want.
I can just murder your ass.
No, that's cool.
I'm going to murderize him. He's just constantly wanting to murder him.
He's such a tough guy. I love him so much. So the characters in the show are just are so great. But the problem is like, so far, the main rider has made the least of an impression.
And I think that's what they want now, though.
Well, because he becomes like this all hell Satan at the very end.
Exactly.
It's like, oh God, no.
He becomes a demon. So then we get a spying montage of the ways that they are spying on him.
Hilarious. And it's like, I was like, Gates, why are you waiting for him in the urinal or in the bathroom? Not in the urinal, but in the bathroom. It's like, literally, it's like, how did you know he was going to go to this stall?
Right.
Like, is it recorded in the book that Wars has? It's
yeah.
Like, he uses the third stall at this time of day. And he's just like standing there waiting for him. He's like, hey, how's it going?
What would he have done if Sogo just walked in and whipped out his dick and just pissed? Would he have stayed in there?
I don't know, but I wonder if that would, I wonder if that would have changed things and been like, if he would have dick shamed him.
I guess so.
Like, oh wow, you become the ruler.
Had such a small dick.
I guarantee you, that's how he became evil. Somebody was like, oh,
Jesus.
He's got that little dick syndrome, and yeah.
So eventually he throws them off the trail by being like, he does the oldest trick of look over there.
And they're like, huh? And he goes,
what? And then he runs away.
And they're like, no, he ran away.
The best part about that scene was when Gates stood up and was like, damn it!
Shimata!
That was so fun.
So great.
So then he goes and he hides in an equipment locker, which is like, in
the gym. It's like where you keep all the equipment and stuff.
Right. And there's some dude playing a game.
His buddy, Owata. I wrote down his name.
Owata.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
What a throwaway character.
Yeah, no kidding. And so anyway, Sogo comments about how, you love video games. You'll be in my video game research division or whatever.
I love how he has jobs for everybody.
He does.
I think that's really sweet.
He's such a nice demon king.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to give you a job.
Which might as well be killing them.
Yeah.
So this teacher, I don't want to touch on this long because it felt kind of pointless. This teacher shows up and it's just like, who's in there? And the dude playing the game is like, oh no, I'm going to get in trouble for skipping. And Sogo's like, oh, don't worry about it. And Sogo walks out and vouches for him. and just says, "Oh, it's just me in here. I just wanted to eat my lunch." And the teacher's like, "All right, cool, whatever."
He's like, "See me after class. I told you guys don't go in there."
And it's like, "Oh, okay."
It's like,
this never comes back. This segment, section, this thing never comes back.
It might next episode. You don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Because he still has to show up to the teacher's room after school.
Oh, my gosh. Does he?
Yeah.
No, school ends,
No.
man.
He said, meet me in the teacher's lounge later. I want to see this. This better happen. I want to see this happen.
It's not going to happen.
I want to see what the repercussions are, because that could be the tipping point.
So, the game freaks out that the kid's playing.
Which is Mighty Action X.
But is.
It's like there's something wrong with the sprite, with the Mighty Action X sprite. So I'm like, is it a hack?
Right.
I mean, you would expect it to be, yeah.
And it also says "Get Him" on it, so they're not secret. They don't make it a secret what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
And so another X-Aid shows up, and I don't like the little hover hand knockout he does. He holds his hover hand up
he's like, sleep.
And then they fall.
It's kind of like Green Goblin in the first Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Like, sleep.
I thought it was lame.
And it's like, really?
Too.
Come on, guys. But dude, I love how he kind of looks like the Predator. Like with the dread
a little
stuff.
bit.
Yeah, and then the whole black. I mean, I don't know why he's got the pink on him. I mean, I know why he has the pink on him, but it's like, you know.
I will say this. He left a weaker impression on me than another build.
Because he didn't terrify you with the nightmare fuel that was opening his eyes.
Right.
They will literally haunt your dreams forever.
So he knocks out the dude, and Sogo henshins. And
I love how he just kind of stands there and watches him like, that's an impressive henshin.
I think they all do. They're all like, oh, that's
But no,
nice.
it looked like he was like literally like hand on hip. Like just kind of like,
just waiting.
Yeah, it's like, and okay.
And
all right, and done.
You're the main rider. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
But when he goes to attack him, another X-Aid vanishes.
He just poof.
Yeah, he just gone.
Dematerialized.
He gone. Man, that happens so much. Every time we record one of these, I feel like I've said he gone in each one of them.
I mean, that's where they go. Away.
Well, he had gone. So then Gates and Tsukuyomi show back up. Or they finally find him. And they're like, we found you. And he's like, but it's too freaking late, guys.
Yeah.
And, of course, he's henshined. And he's like, we got to go figure this out. And so
they go to the hospital, Sei Hospital.
So that
and find out that this is apparently a thing that's happening now. That people are losing consciousness and they're going into comas, but there's no medical explanation as to why this is going on. Right.
So nobody knows why it's happening. So then we get to the point where it's like we're still in investigative mode. And we're trying to figure it out. And then Gates is like, I'm pulling you off this thing.
Yeah.
Because if you follow this path, you're going to get another Kamen Rider's power.
Yeah, you're going to take it. He says specifically, take it. He's like, I gave it back. I wasn't trying to take it. And he's like, but no, that's what you do.
But no, you take it. And I mean, he's not wrong.
Because he's like, you remove them from the timeline.
Right. He's not wrong. He does. He does take it. And so then, what does he say to Gates to trigger him? Like, he says something to the effect of, like, do you know what?
Yeah, he's like, I just can't stand around without helping, especially when it's a friend. Like, you know what that's like, don't you? And he's like, I know what that's like to the exhaustion of all of my emotions.
Yeah. So,
and then it does this little flashback to where he's sobbing and holding, like, the hand of a friend that I'm assuming obviously has died because he's covered in blood and there's like a lot of rubble and stuff. And
right.
And he's essentially, I mean, I don't really have to kind of point this out, but it's essentially pointing to the fact that it's Oma Zi-O's fault. Right.
And so in this little exchange, the Genim handheld game falls out of Zi-O's pocket or Sogo's pocket. And then he picks it up and he's like, oh, it could be related to this game.
He's like, I'm going to beat this game.
I'm going to beat this impossible game.
That nobody else can beat. It's going to curse you if you don't beat it. And then we find out that, interestingly enough, that in the future, because there's a thing about Tsukuyomi is like, are you getting good at video games?
Right.
And he's like, and he's like, are you any good? And she's like, oh, well, where I come from, we don't play video games with our hands. He's like, wow, the future is, like, amazing.
We don't play games with our hands, bro.
Everything is VR there, apparently. But then we also find out that Sogo really sucks at video games.
He does.
He is the worst.
He's
He's literally good at nothing. And yet he wants to be king.
Wait, isn't he? He's good at history.
Oh, yeah, he's good at history.
He hasn't proved it yet, but he said he is.
Yeah. We need to give him a test.
Yeah, we need to pop quiz his ass.
Pop quiz. In what era?
So, yeah, he sucks at the game. He can't do it. He game overs over and over and over.
He's bad at math. He's bad at games.
And Gates is like, of course, an amateur couldn't beat this friggin' video game that's supposed to be impossible.
And then Tsukuyomi, doing all of the work here, finds out that, well, there is a genius gamer named M who is virtually impossible to find.
Right.
And so then we have a very short montage of going everywhere, like, hey, do you know about the genius gamer?
But this is cool, though. I don't know if you saw it, but I noticed it when we watched it. And when he goes to the first arcade, when he's running in and running out, there's a poster for Bang Bang Shooting. And there's also a poster for Bakuso Bike. So there's posters for the like little cameos.
I want my Shakariki Sports.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think they showed those posters because I hate to admit it, but I guess Snipe's not going to be showing up.
No!
And Kiria's not going to be showing up. So anyway, that was a cool little Easter egg that I thought. And of course, with Snipe being my favorite from X8, I immediately was like, oh, there's Bang Bang. I see the fucking Bang Bang.
I love Kuroto. He's my favorite.
So then, while he's doing this run around montage, he sees another X-Aid get another guy.
Yeah, he actually hears the guy scream, and that's what draws him to the thing. So.
And so he does the whole hover hand knockout again, and the dude hits the ground. And
this is so beautiful. I love this moment.
And then so another X-Aid vanishes again, and he runs over to the guy. But as he does, Wars appears again.
He's like, "Greetings, my demon king."
Yeah, he does his normal. But what I love about it
Sogo is like he's like, "Sir, are you okay?" And then Wars just kind of rolls his eyes like, "Oh."
That was my favorite part about it. Was Wars is just like, "Oh my gosh!"
And then he just kind of turns around and he's like, "Okay, so."
So then Wars points him in the right direction, which makes perfect sense. I know Wars is like a, there's a word for it and I don't know it. Maybe somebody can tell me. But like, he's the perfect character to show up when the story doesn't really know where to go, when the character doesn't know where to go, and obviously go, you got to go over there. So and
he's the narrator,
right? But
he literally keeps everything back on track.
Right,
yeah, and that's the point. He wants the time. He's the only person who wants the timeline to go in, to this point,
right?
Which is beautiful if you look at it the right way.
Well, yeah, I mean, but what are his motives? Is the thing.
Yeah, that's gonna be the fun part, is to figure that out.
What is he up to? And so anyway, he points them in the direction of the X-AIDS hospital. The hospital that we see all throughout.
Saito Hospital.
All throughout X8. It's like the main place.
Yep.
So they go there, and of course, he takes Tsukuyomi and Gates, and they get there, and they're confused as to why this hospital. And then they overhear some gossiping nurses.
They're like, oh, it looks like the newbie doctor took another day off. Oh, he probably stayed up late playing video games.
Ha 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 ha. And so they stop him and they're like, excuse me, were you just talking about a doctor who took a day off playing video games?
Is it the genius gamer?
And then that's when you hear a familiar voice say, why would you be looking for a pediatrician?
And who else is it but Kagami Hiro, a.k.a. Kamen Rider Brave.
One of the best characters from X8. Not my favorite, but
there's nothing he can't cut.
I would say he's probably my second favorite.
He's great.
But he shows up and he's got just this crowd of people around him, which are like doctors, other doctors and stuff.
And more nurses.
And he's just going to walk past them. And so the nurses that like see him freak out. They do the whole fangirl thing. And so then Sogo mentions an impossible game. Mm-hmm. He says, like, something about an impossible game. Anyway, something triggers Hiro to stop and turn around and go, wait, what did you just say? And what stops him is he recalls a conversation he recently had with Emu and about some impossible game that Emu was going to look into. And so then another interesting point that I want to mention here is when they, I don't know exactly when it happens, but he takes them to Emu's desk is what we're going to assume.
Yeah, well, he mentions that that M's been looking into it because they haven't been able to find a solution there at their hospital either.
Right.
And it's really been puzzling them. And so since they do believe that it is tied to a game, they're like, well, we have to have M do it because he's the game master.
He's the game genius, right? And
the game genie.
Then Gates gets really positive about the situation and is very helpful.
And Tsukiyomi calls him on it. He's like, no! He's like,
no, I'm not! Like, he's such a... I like Gates, don't get me wrong.
He's so great.
But he's written so edgy. Like, he just has to be the edgiest. He has to
I love it, though. It's so great.
It's like
because honestly, he's just the coolest.
When they wrote his story, they were just like, Edge. Like, they took a big black Sharpie and wrote Edge over it to the point of where it's almost unreadable. And it's just like, there are points where it's funny and charming, and I really want to like that character because I love the edgy characters. But man, he's just too much. He's just too much Edge. And so when he's positive, she's like, oh, you got positive. And he's like, no, I didn't. So Hiro gives them the code that Emu was working on, and it is in German, which is weird. I don't understand the time.
He explained that it used to be that in Japan they used to use German instead of Latin for their medical notes.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
I don't understand it. But instantly, I mean, before I even knew what it meant, it was like, oh, that's the Konami code. Yeah. And little did I know, I looked it up, and it's the Konami code backwards.
Yeah, it's kind of flip flopped on the directions.
So it's not perfectly backwards, but it is backwards.
It's like, it's definitely a shout out to the Konami code.
Sure, absolutely. So the Konami code then teleports them into the game world, which happens to be a freaking warehouse.
Who would have ever guessed?
Who would have guessed it's a warehouse? They see another X-Aid, and then it's time to henshin, and let's fight this dude.
And can we just point out the fact that Gates has the absolute, better henshin of the two?
Oh, for sure.
Hands down.
For sure.
He's so committed to it, too.
He is.
I mean, he's quick,
he's got that
and just
energy about
the
it.
Snap.
Man.
I mean, it's it's beautiful.
Props to that young man actor. He really is committed to being in a Kamen Rider. I mean, I think I would be too, man. If you told me that was my henshin, oh, dude, I'd be like,
yeah,
freaking snapping. What is it? Pop, snap, and lock it. I don't know.
Pop and lock and snap.
Pop, snap, and lock it. Twist it.
I'd be all Rice Krispies on that.
Bop it. I'd be popping everywhere like pop, pop, pop. So anyway, they henshin and they fight another X-Aid. And the only thing of note in this battle is Gates uses the drive armor.
Yep.
So I want to talk about this for a second, because if this means we don't get a drive episode,
I'm going to be very, very sad.
I'm going to be really upset. I liked Drive. Drive's not my favorite, but Drive is really good. Drive has a really good main rider and one of my favorite secondary riders.
Right.
And man, it's so good. I would hate to see them not get to do that.
Maybe they're going to have to go back to the year of Drive, and they'll have to get Go's power.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
I really hope.
My only hope and my only hold off was something you mentioned earlier in an earlier episode, was they're still secondary riders. Mm-hmm. So will we have to go back and get Maha? or Chaser or somebody.
Could we please?
I mean, so I just super hope this isn't their way of ducking out of an episode for Drive.
It really makes me wonder, like, how those were chosen, that they were going to be the ones that he didn't get. And because you would think that they would go to the older series, like Fies and stuff like that. That would be harder to get riders who haven't aged as much.
Right, and we'll go ahead and briefly touch on this. We know Fies is confirmed. I believe the main rider from Fies is going to be in episode 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. That was actually confirmed. Japan released like some kind of magazine article about it because it was a big deal. Mm-hmm. Fies is an older series now, and for him to come back to it, and we haven't watched Fies. I mean, I'll just be completely transparent on that.
I tried because one of the characters from Shinkenger, from Samurai Sentai Shinkenger, is in it. Juzo,
okay.
Is actually supposed to be in Fies, if I recall correctly.
Cool.
And that's why I tried to watch it, but it just seemed a little too old for me, which is the same reason I had trouble watching Blade.
I think eventually I'm gonna get into Fies.
I've heard good things.
But see, so we've confirmed Fies is coming back. We've also confirmed a character from Forzay is coming back, but it's not a rider. It's not a rider. It's the freaking suspenders popping goofy teacher. I don't know. Again, I really hope we don't get screwed over from a Forzay episode 2. Anyway, all that aside, we get to see a finishing attack for the Drive, which is good as they could do based off the kick itself. And what's funny is we talked about the Drive kick in the previous episode, was it?
Yes, I believe so.
And the Drive kick, I did put up an image for it, but it's hard to capture it in an image. His car, so he doesn't have a motorcycle, his car zips in a circle around the enemy, and Drive bounces off of it, kicking the dude over and over, but rebouncing off the car.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. But he zips around like he's got wheels on his feet and hits another X-Aid several times. Which is
so great.
And so then we get to see the Voltec finish again.
I love how they worked together to do that. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the gravity of that's going to start like wearing on Gates, because he's like, I'm working with him, what am I doing?
It's episode 3, and I think we're already given too much in the way of that. I feel like we needed to go a little bit longer before Gates started being positive, before they start really working together. But I don't know. So they defeat him. They defeat another X-Aid, and it turns into a human? Just some like, dude.
It's a guy?
That's not a ghost, it's a guy.
It's a guy.
So, this dude's laying there, and we see this figure step up in the way, and it's this great big reveal of, is that who we think it is? Is that who we think it is?
I don't know. I don't recognize the haircut.
The haircut's different, sure. But it looks cleaner. He was it looked a lot nicer. Yeah. So of course,
this is future him in the past or in the future. It's in the future because it's the present day.
2018.
Yeah,
I believe.
So he's kind of stepped up his game a little bit.
Right, and so of course it's is it Hojo Emu. Or Kamen Rider X-Aid, the real one.
Yes.
And so the shocker here is everybody's like, oh, you're the guy we've been looking for. This is awesome. You know, we've been looking for you. They don't get that far into it, but it's the look on their face. Yeah, they're like,
oh, hey. And he says, I thought I was the only one who could get in here.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one who could get in here, referring to the game world.
Yeah.
How did you feel seeing Emu again?
I was excited, but
honestly, were you excited?
I was excited because like I really loved X-Aid. X-Aid was one of my favorites, and just that form, like his level 5 or was it level 10 form?
Which one?
Well, it wasn't the chibi form.
Daihenshin's level 2, right?
Yeah. So, but just seeing that like form just brought back so many good memories, and especially because the aesthetic of the show was so in my wheelhouse because it reminded me of my youth playing video games in the 90s.
The colors of the X-Aid outfit are awesome.
Yeah.
They are.
And you get pumped for it. And then I also thought of Daichi Miura's X-Sight
opening
theme
song. Right.
Which, hands down, still probably
Still probably.
It's in my top 3.
Still probably.
Well, I say that, and then I'm just like, oh, but then I remember the opening for Kiva, and I'm just like, that's a bop.
When we break the
banger.
Break the chain,
yes.
dude, I lose my mind.
Oh my god, it's so great.
Good stuff.
It's so great.
I think we need to do Kiva as a series.
Yes. That would be fun.
So anyway, he henshins, and what I liked about the henshin was it's the henshin. It is in all its glory. He does the animation. The wind blows his hair up.
Yeah.
He does the thing. He goes straight to Dai Henshin, which is fine. And he attacks them?
Yeah, and then cliffhanger. What's going on here?
So what's going on? So I think it's just a misunderstanding. Emu is confused. He probably thinks they're bad guys because they're not supposed to be in that world.
Well, I mean, they're everyday people, so he's trying to figure out what's going on. So he's like, "Oh, you're the people behind it,"
Right.
So, which is it's an understanding, or it's an understandable assumption.
Sure. And so then we see the preview for next time, where we finally are going to get to see the X8 armor.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty cool.
Which that's another really cool thing I like about it. It's they don't fully take on like the look of the other riders that they get the powers from. Instead, they just use like bits and pieces of them. But I love how the armor naturally tries to take their poses and stuff.
Sure.
I think that's so cool.
That is cool. I'm going to be just completely transparent here. I was pretty bored with this episode.
I can see that.
This episode was pretty boring.
There was a lot more exposition in it. And I think right now, the first several episodes are always going to be a little slower.
Yeah.
Just in general. Now, 2 was actually really good.
Yeah, no, episode 2 was
But I feel like, of course, now we are throwing another character in the mix with Aura. So there's going to be kind of like another, like, well, how is this going to play out? Because I know we're going to see her more in the next episode because, like, she mentioned earlier that Uru had picked Build to be the king.
Right.
Okay, so if that's the case, and the one he backed failed, well, this is her attempt at trying to put somebody on the throne.
Right.
And so it makes me wonder how many more Tom Jackers we're going to see and how all that's going to work with them, like, trying to put these other riders in.
Well, if we are to believe, or if we are to follow the intro of the show, there's only one other time jacker.
But intros change.
And that's true. But the thing is, based off what we know from the intro, because we see Uru in the intro walk past, and Aura actually turns her head. And I remember because I was like, ooh, girl. And I'm way into women. So it's like, oh, okay, awesome. And she's very attractive. I like her look a lot.
I like how she's got the feathers in her hair.
Yeah, she looks great. The knee-high boots are awesome. And I like the braided hair. I like the way the braided hair looks.
I'm not going to lie. Uru, he's such a cute young man, but God bless him. I just want to be like, please move that little piece of hair.
That little piece of hair.
I'm just like,
get that out of the way.
Like, go brush your hair, child.
That bugs me too, but you can tell it's ornamental.
Yeah,
like,
he's
like
got the beads and
stuff
stuff in it. But at the same time, I'm just like.
So, anyway, yeah, I'm excited to see more. My thrill for the series hasn't died at all. It's still too early, but this episode just kind of drug a little bit for me. We do learn a few important things. Anyway, how about you? Good episode? That episode?
I mean, I thought it was okay. I'm really interested. The way that they're doing the designs for the other riders is really cool because I liked how, like I said, with this another X8, it kind of had the Predator look, but also it was a throwback to Hyper Muteki,
right?
Which was cool, and I like the way that they're doing these designs. But please don't terrify me anymore with their terrible, like, nightmare-inducing eyes.
So,
but I'm very much into, like, the look of the characters because even like with the Sentai series, I like seeing the different character designs and how they kind of work with the theme and everything. And I'm just always excited for more characters. So when they're introducing the Time Jackers, I like to see their look, and then of course Wars is my favorite because of his aesthetic.
Yeah, he looks great.
And then, like, I just love to see I want to see all the players in place.
Right.
This is gonna kind of seem off topic, but when I was a little girl, my grandfather used to collect chess sets. Mm-hmm. And my favorite part was opening the box to look at all the different, like, the details to each piece, and just see, compare them from set to set,
right?
And just the ornamentation of each piece. And so whenever there's a new series, a new Kamen Rider series or Sentai series, I'm always interested to see how the look is going to work, and then how it ties in with the series themselves. And the same thing with the names and stuff, because it's part of the look. But
well, I'm actually going to go ahead and announce this now, and this is going to be actually news to you.
Oh.
I have decided that due to the attention that these episodes have gotten, be them positive or negative, we are going to do a recap of where we are up to now of Lupin versus Pat.
Yes. I love that series so much.
We're up to episode like 30 something, and
I think 32 was the last one that we watched.
We're going to do kind of about the same length as one of these. About a 35 minute episode to talk about where we are, to catch us up.
We may have to do a couple of those in a row.
No, because we're not going to do step by steps or anything crazy. We're just going to talk about Lupin versus Pat and where we are, and just a brief, like, rough run through up to now.
Okay.
Once we do that, we'll do that in one episode. Once we do that together, we will then start following, hopefully, those episodes the same way we're doing Zi-O.
Great.
That way it'll hit our Sentai niche as well. But anyway, we're running a little long on this one. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, give it a like. That would be awesome. Comment if you have anything to say. I would love to hear from anybody. And as always, have a great, awesome Kamen Rider evening.